Hello everybody and welcome to Bird's Nest Designs. My name is Denise Cox and I'm a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator here in Trail, British Columbia, Canada. And I am super excited to be filming this video with you today using the Bottled Happiness stamp set and coordinating punch for my In Color Club, which this month is our final month and we are featuring Orchid Oasis as our final color. It's a beautiful, beautiful purpley blue color, and it just went really well with this bundle, I thought. So this is the first card. There will be 3 videos that will be posted to my YouTube channel, all featuring the same bundle and the Orchid Oasis. So be sure to check them all out. Leave me a comment, subscribe, show me some love. I'd love hearing from you. Okay, so today's card features a color combination of Balmy Blue, Parakeet Party, and of course Orchid Oasis. And I've got a little mini glue dot here stuck to my ink pad. Okay, so those are the colors we're going to use. And then of course, what did I do with my stamp set? Okay, where did it go? Oh, here it is. Okay, so here's our Bottled Happiness stamp set. And this is the coordinating vintage bottle punch. So you can buy both of these together as a bundle and save 10% in the annual catalog. Now, the first card I'm going to do today does not use the vintage bottle punch, but we are, of course, going to use this Bottled Happiness stamp set. Okay, so first things first, we've got a Balmy Blue card base. This measures 8.5 by 5.5, and it's scored in the middle at 4 1/4. So we'll go ahead and fold the card in half, and I always like to use my bone folder to make that a nice crisp fold. So what I've got here is a piece of no, it's not a piece of 4, it's a piece of basic white cardstock that measures 4 by 5 1/4, and that's going to be for the inside of my card. So I'm just gonna attach that inside first. Now, if there was some stamping you wanted to do on your insert, then I would suggest doing it before you adhere it inside here. Just makes it a little easier. Okay, next thing we're going to do is there's a 3 by 4 1/4 piece of basic white and an Orchid Oasis that measures 3 1/4 by 4 1/2. Now, all of these dimensions will be in the description of today's video, so if you miss them, don't worry. So these two are going to get layered together once they're stamped, okay? The other thing we're going to do, actually, let's do that first. Let's do our stamping. Now, you can do this freehand with your stamp. So if you notice, this is like a 2-step stamping. So you're going to stamp the flowers, and then you're going to stamp the leaves, and they're going to come together. You can do that freehand, and if you're really good at eyeing it up, it'll work great. But I want to show you how we're going to use our Stamparatus for this one. So I don't have the stamps lined up because I want to show you the whole process of how I would get this lined up. So on the back of my Stamparatus, there is these heavy-duty magnets. So it's very important that you don't let the magnets touch each other because they're so strong, they will break. So we're going to lift this up, and the Stamparatus, if you've never seen it before, has 2 hinges. So one here, and then we can put the other one right here. Okay, so we're going to use both of them because we're using this double stamping technique. We're going to put our paper right here, and the magnets will hold it in place, but sometimes I find that the photopolymer stamps especially will be a little sticky and they'll stick the paper and pull it up. So what we're going to do is just take our pencil and just sort of put some marks here as to where this was, just in case it does move, then we know exactly where to put it back. Okay, easy. So let's go ahead. We're going to put our magnets on like so, and I'm just making them touch a little bit of the paper. Okay, these 2 are up here for no particular reason, just so I was prepared for our video today. So what I want to do is take our flowers, and I'm going to put them on the paper where I'm going to want them to stamp. Okay, easy. Then we're going to take this first panel and stamp that down. pick up the stamp. And here's what I mean by they're a little sticky, right? So no big deal, we made those marks. Just line it back up. Okay, so there's number one. Then we're going to take our Orchid Oasis and we're going to ink up this stamp on here. So just like so. Okay. And then we'll close this down and it is going to stamp exactly where we wanted it to. Okay. Now, if you don't like the way that's stamped, if you want it to be a little bit more bold and solid, here I'm just going to move this down a bit, then we'll go ahead and we'll re-ink this. And this is the beauty of the Stamparatus. You can do this as many times as you want because it's going to stamp in exactly the same spot. Okay? Pick it up, and now there we have a much more solid, well-stamped image. So that's one beauty of this amazing Stamparatus. Okay, second thing is now we want to add in our leaves and our flower centers. So what we're going to do for that is we're going to take this stamp right here. This is the one that has all those beautiful images we want to add in. We're going to place it over top of our stamp exactly where we want it to be. Okay, I'm just tweaking it a little just so everything's going to line up. That looks perfect. And then I'm going to take this second hinged piece, okay? And I'm going to put that down on top and I'm going to pick up this stamp. Now without the ink, it almost always sticks, like I said. So this is why it's so important to take that little extra second and draw those marks. Okay. All right, now it's held in place. We've got, I'm just going to see if I can, I think this is quite getting it all in here. There we go. Okay, so here's our stamp. Our paper's back in place, almost. Now, just to be sure, we can always do a little trial run. Perfect. Okay, so now I'm going to take Parakeet Party. And I'm going to ink up this stamp over here. Okay, and then I'm going to pop it down. Apply some pressure. Lift it up. And voila! There it is, perfectly lined up. Again, if you wanted a more solid image, some of these leaves look a little spotty. We can do that. We just have to re-ink this up again. Put it down. Apply some pressure. Lift it up. And there we have it. Isn't that awesome? I love it. So this Stamparatus is available through my online store. It is in the annual catalog. I believe it's about $67. I should have looked that up. Let me just have a quick peek. I can look that up for you because it's a tool, if you don't already have one, that is super awesome to add to your collection. So let me just see here. Here's the Stamparatus right here. Yeah, $67 here in Canada. It's on page 147. It's also available in my online store, so be sure to check that out if you don't already have one. Okay, so now that we've got our flowers stamped, we're going to use Balmy Blue to stamp the bottle. Now we could do the bottle as well with the Stamparatus, but it's a pretty simple stamp. There's not a lot to line up, so I'm just going to do it this way. I'm going to line that up like so. And stamp that down. And there's our bottle. Perfect. Okay. Now, I do want to point out one more thing about the Stamparatus, just while I've got it out here. So if you had more than the 2 images that you wanted to stamp, say you did want to do the bottle, these pop out, these plates pop out and turn. So now you've got another platform here that you could put a stamp on. And you could do, of course, the same thing. Turn that off, turn that around. Okay, so putting it back how we had it. And we could do the same thing over here. We can pop this one out and turn it, and then you've got this plate here to put another stamp. So you could use 4 stamps, or if you were doing, you know, multiples. The possibilities are endless with this tool, so I just wanted to show you that. Okay, so now we've back to our card. We've got our stamped bottle here, and we're gonna adhere this now to our Orchid Oasis. Okay, so that part's done. Now, what have I done with the card? It's over here. Okay, so here's our card base with our insert. Now, the last thing that I want to do is I've got a piece here of basic white, and this one measures 3 3/4 by 5. I'm going to go ahead and attach this diagonal piece of Orchid Oasis gingham designer series paper. Now, how I created this triangle was simply by cutting a 3 3/4 by 5 piece of the designer paper, and then I just lined it up in my paper trimmer, corner to corner in the track, and just cut it. So I ended up with 2 triangular pieces. Okay, so each of my club members is going to get one of these kits in their monthly kit. So they're going to get one of these card make and takes. Okay, so let's go ahead and attach that triangle to the corner up here. Line that up. I don't want any white, if I can help it. I don't want any white showing along the edge. Okay, so there's that. And then we'll go ahead, we're going to attach this piece directly in the center. Have you seen this metallic ribbon? I love it. This is 1/8 of an inch thick, so it's nice and thin, and it comes in all 5 of the in colors. So this happens to be the Orchid Oasis one, of course. And what we're going to do is we're just going to attach a piece across the base of this card here. And to do that, I like to use tear tape. And put it across where I want it. Turn the card over, and then just stick this tear tape down. Oh, there it is. I forgot where I put it. And we're just going to attach it on both ends. Okay, so there we have it across the front. Now we can go ahead and attach this entire piece to our card, like so. And just a couple little things we want to do now to finish it up. So I am going to tie a bow with this metallic ribbon. And my little trick for tying these bows, when you can, is not to cut it off of the ribbon spool. That way you can use as much or as little as you need and you don't waste, right? So I've got my bow here. I'm just gonna pull each of the little tails to make it the size I want. I just want a little one. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to use a glue dot, but the glue dot itself is pretty big for this little thin ribbon. So what I'm going to do is just pull it up in my fingers and kind of squish it together to make a small little sticky blob, for lack of a better word. And then we'll just stick that to the back of the bow. Put it on top of our ribbon here. And then we can go ahead and trim these. So no waste on that one. A little bit of waste over here, but I could have been a little more careful, I guess. So there's our bow. So now we need a sentiment on our card. And the sentiment I chose, I wanted to make this a birthday card. There's no birthday in the bottled happiness, so I pulled out One Happy Family. This one has all kinds of great sentiments, and they're nice and small, so easy to put onto a little 1/2-inch strip on your card creation. So I want to flag the right hand side. So I'm going to use my Banners Pick-a-Punch. I'm just going to slide this right in there. I like to flip it over just to make sure it's lined up. Pop that out. Okay. And here we have this. And then happy birthday. I love this font. I'm going to use my Orchid Oasis to stamp that. I'm going to put it more towards the right hand side like so. Isn't that a fun font? I love it. Okay, now let's go ahead and attach this across our card here with, again, some Stampin' Dimensionals. So 3 across the back would be lots. And then we can just place this up here above the ribbon. I'm going to line up this edge with the Orchid Oasis cardstock. Okay. And then we need a little bit of bling. So what I'm going to use this for today is these 2022-24 in color matte decorative dots. It comes in all of the in colors. You can see I love these. I've used almost all of them. And to make it easy to pull these off, I'm going to use my take a pick tool. This is the putty end, which mine's going to need to be replaced pretty quick here. And we're just going to pull off a couple of these larger dots to put here. And then we'll just add one little one down here, just to kind of balance it off. And I always like to do things in odd numbers, and especially in 3s, being that 3 is my favorite number. So there's our card. This is card number 1 for my In Color Club featuring Orchid Oasis. And again, our stamp bundle that we're featuring for this month's class is the Bottled Happiness bundle with the vintage bottle punch. All of the products you see today are available in my online store. You can get to that through createwithbirdsnest.ca. You can shop with me from anywhere in Canada. And if you have any questions at all, please reach out to me. I'm always happy to help. And thank you everybody for watching. Happy stamping. And don't forget to check out the next 2 cards. Cheers.